And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Another day, another great show planned for you here over the next 25 or 30 minutes, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk, Texas. Of course, catch us out there, syndicated now, KKTC 99.9 True Country in Taos, New Mexico, Ski Town out there, too, up that I 25 corridor and up into Pueblo, Colorado. Pleased to welcome in one of my show favorites. And now he's one of my best friends. We got to hang out at CRS this past year. Good buddy Alex Miller to the program. Alex, what's up, man?
Not much. Good to see you again, and I hope you've been eating good since the last time I saw you. We kind of down and out in our luck here in Nashville. Last time we was eating what we could find.
That's Bar Lines was busy that night too this past year. Like I said, went outside, found us a food truck, and the rest of the night was like, you know what, hey, eat what we can find, just a little chat and good company is what it's all about too. Hey, talk about just for you, man, how good 2023 has been, and now to really, I say, cap it off with this country EP out there, showing a lot of versatility. We were talking about before the show on a lot of things you can do with your vocals and instrumentation.
Yeah, 2023 has been a great year for me. We've been traveling and touring quite a bit, and that's what I enjoy to do the most. But also, like you said, putting out a new record, that's pretty exciting as well. And like you said, it's my versatility record, the way I like to say it. You got everything from the real traditional country to real modern country stuff. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with it, is kind of show the world what Alex Miller could do. And I think country does that. And it's named country because it shows all different aspects of country that I enjoy and sing and perform.
No doubt too, and like I said, ever since those idle days, I mean, you've just exploded all over the place. The videos have gone viral too, and I love it too because you're true to yourself as an artist. And we talked about this a lot on previous shows and in person out there. And when I get to visit Nashville from time to time, you have a lot of fun with your music. You knew your sound coming on one of those main competitions, such as a show like Idol, and you never look back. I mean, you were exposed to a lot of that old country sound, and talk about that to the listeners, how important that was for you growing up.
Well, yeah, growing up, I grew up in a little town called Lancaster, Kentucky, and we listened to the old classic country station. And my granddad's favorites were like Merle Haggard, Ernest Tubb, Buck Owens, those kinds. And so that's what I was listening to growing up as a kid. And it's kind of what's influenced my sound, my voice, and kind of what I do and love about country music.
It really is too. And this first one, that Girl I Know a Guy, which leads off the record, I thought that was a great track to kind of choose, right there to kind of set the tone. Every record's got to have that one song that's kind of the hook. It gets somebody pulled in, and you're like, you know what? We don't just listen to like the one at radio or the one that's got a star by or something like that for
Right.
Apple Music. We want to hook you in, get that top one, and then listen to the rest of the record. Tell us all about the Girl I Know a Guy.
Well, that's a song written by Walt Aldridge and Tim Rushlow, Little Texas. So it was cool getting a song pitched like that to me. And when I first heard it, I thought, well, that's a pretty big deal there. I definitely need to try to record it. And it's a great song. I didn't write it, that one in particular, but there's a few on the record that I did. But I wanted to just record great songs for this one, and that was something that I don't know if I could have written. So it was pitched in, and I love it, and I think it turned out as good as I could do it. It's definitely country than the demo that I got.
No doubt too. You put country on everything too that you put out there. Hey, take us back, and for the listeners out there, especially in the new market I'm in Taos, New Mexico, and up to Pueblo, Colorado, out that way. Now that my show's syndicated, they may or may not know about Miller Time and kind of when it came out too. It did some really cool things for you out there. Kind of highlight some of those songs and give us kind of that prognosis is kind of where Miller Time is now. Probably a lot of show favorites. You're still putting those live shows, right?
That's exactly right. My being Alex Miller, I thought, well, let's name good name for a record. So I kind of took the Miller Beer approach and called it Miller Time, and it was a very successful record. And I thought what I did with that was establish kind of what my music was going to be, which was kind of more traditional country. So some of my favorites off there are Don't Let the Barn Door Hit You, the one I wrote about my ex-girlfriend I did on Idol, I'm Over You, So Get Over Me, and Through With You are the three standouts to me of that record. And then there's some great country cuts like Kentucky's Ever Been This Far, Breaking the Bank, and Girls Must Be Clumsy or some other ones that I really enjoy. Not to mention, on that first record, I have the Oak Ridge Boys singing with me on Old Gospel Song, and then we covered Old Bluegrass number 2.
I love the bluegrass music, brother. Well, I tell you what, this new EP's got something for everybody on it. We'll turn it over to you. We'll play one. We'll take a time out here just a little bit, but I'm gonna turn it over to you off that record or dealer's choice.
Yeah.
What's up first today?
Let's do. This is my favorite, maybe my favorite one off the record. It's probably the most well written one because this is my favorite idea I've had in a long time. I hope y'all enjoy it out there too. It's a ballad. We'll start with the ballads and then we'll get into the fun stuff too.
Here we go.
This is one called "Every Time I Reach for You, I Grab a Bottle." Here I am alone tonight at your memory's command. Oh, these aching arms that held you tight are as empty as the bottle in my hand. And when the missing you begins, I know right where my nights will end. Every time I reach for you, I grab the bottle. It's all I've got to keep me warm when nights are cold. Every time I reach for you, I grab the bottle. 'Cause when you left, it's all you left for me to hold. I come home and called your name. Oh, the silence is so loud, for I'm the only one to blame for all the lonely in this house, wanting you to have it. I can't break. It gets stronger with each drink I take. Every time I reach for you, I grab the bottle. It's all I've got to keep me warm when nights are cold. Every time I reach for you, I grab the bottle. 'Cause when you left, it's all you left for me to hold. When you left, it's all you left for me to hold.
Like it there. Every time I reach for you. So released as a single from Alex Miller before on the new EP Country across all the digital platforms. And we're powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. And of course, out there at hightidecountry.net. And our newest stations out there too, KKTC True Country 99.9. We'll see if they work that into the rotation out there in Taos, New Mexico.
That'd
and
be cool.
To Pueblo, Colorado. I'd love for them to mix that in if they haven't already. Like I said, Rudy, he's probably got his hands full going, hey, man, a lot of music comes my way, too. But Alex Miller, one of a kind out there, too. We'll take a quick time out for our friends at Banktail Whiskey out there, too. Banktail.com and easyliquor.com. You can order there. And make it your favorite cocktail out there. The official whiskey of the Backstage Pass is Banktail Whiskey and our friends at Honky Tonk Texas. Coming right back. More with Alex Miller. Another performance coming up, too, as well. And some more questions. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And, of course, to round out the week, Mia Brown will stop by tomorrow, and another group called Gold Pine on Thursday. And then, of course, next week we'll have some more great shows there, too. Walker Montgomery signing over the next few weeks. We'll get in touch with Walker, Ray Scott, Ashley Ray, and a whole lot more coming up here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. And, of course, out there, KKTC 99.9, True Country up there in Taos, New Mexico, and up into Colorado. You can catch replays of the show at 10 Mountain Time out there for your listening pleasure. Back here with Alex Miller on the show, the newest EP, Country, across all the digital platforms. You know, another one I wanted to ask you off there too was a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun with a song that you do with your tunes, Putting Up Hay.
Yes.
Was this one you wrote?
Yes, it was. I wrote that with Jerry Salley and Larry Cordell. Larry Cordell wrote Highway 40 Blues and Murder on Music Row, so getting to write with him and being in a room with him was pretty wild. And we come out that song, and we wrote it about. Now I'll tell you, I grew up in Lancaster, Kentucky, but you know, we put up a lot of hay on our farm, and but we never had no Daisy Bell like that song's got, you know. But we had a good time on the farm and put up a lot of hay. That's true.
What a good song to include on the record there too. Well, I got to ask you, how was Thanksgiving too? Because I know it just passed, and I know I got full after one plate. How was your Thanksgiving?
Well, I've been having the diet since then. Yeah. But my aunt cooked a good Thanksgiving. She always does. Me and everybody, we get over to the house and we'll eat it at my aunt's house. She's a great cook, and so I've definitely gained some weight since then.
Diet is the word of the vocabulary for the rest of the year too.
That's right.
Plans for the holidays too coming up. Back at the aunt's house, or where are you going?
Well, so we'll go back and forth. So we'll go to her house for Thanksgiving, and her family and my grandmother, they'll come to my dad's house, and we'll do it at my dad's most of the time. You know, I've got a show on the 15th. That's also my Christmas plans this year. But other than that, no, Alex Miller's going to take it easy. He's had a long summer.
Don't blame you, too. Like I said, those tours do take a lot of work out of an artist, too, at the same time, and you got to do a lot of that. Got to ask you about that, too, because that tour, come and gone, and you got to tour with some of the big names out there and be added on those blocks out there to be a supporting cast or supporting artist out there, if you will. And how was that? I mean, just a learning experience, too, for you, but also getting your music out there to a lot of fans.
Yeah, that's what I appreciated about it. Getting to open up for somebody is a cool experience. I've got to open up for a bunch, and I hope to continue to as well. It's a great thing because it's a chance for a young artist like myself or anybody else to get out in front of people that, you know, they may not be exposed to or have been exposed to before. So that's what I enjoy about it, is making new fans. That's one of the best places to do it.
You know, you did that. I tell you, earlier this year, you guys got to release one. You mentioned Kentucky, and I love the title of it, too, when it's snappy. It's just catchy. Getting lucky in Kentucky when that happens, too, for another particular just downright good old country song, too. Where'd this one originate from?
Well, that's kind of a saying here in Kentucky, getting lucky in Kentucky. And you can do it however you want to, you know, maybe on the lotto or poker, like the song talks about, or maybe in other ways as well. So that's kind of what that was about. It's one of my favorites off the record. I ain't going to lie to you, just because of how traditional it is. But I just can't believe they let me cut it.
I love that, too. Hey, when it comes to writing, walk us through, and I know this as an answer, too, but for the listeners who may not, the Alex Miller, the writing style, and kind of what you want to achieve when it comes to kind of the end result. What do you enjoy writing about?
I write about anything. I'm probably more of a woman drinking song kind of writer, but I'll write about my grandparents and my folks and things like that. Every song is different, you know. Every song calls for a little different type of way of doing things, and you just got to let the song write itself.
You do, and like I said, it's a lot of it could be we've talked about before, personal experiences or having to live it to be able to write it, things like that, right?
Yeah, and I've definitely lived a lot for a 12-year-old.
Well, hey, you were on one of the main competitions out there too to go through something like that. When you look back at that, I'm sure there's a lot of friendships and a lot of memories
Oh,
and
yeah.
people you probably still talk to from that season, right?
Oh, yeah. The winner, we talk every now and then, Chase Beckham.
Oh yeah.
He's a good guy. And I talk to a few other folks as well. It's off and on, and I'll run into them sometimes when I'm down in Nashville or
Mhm.
wherever I'm out touring and playing. I'll run into them, so it's cool to see them.
Good people, no doubt about it too. And
Oh, yeah.
those judges, those world renowned judges. I was watching the episode of the top 12. I think I missed a couple of performances last night, but the other competition, getting into The Voice. You participating in something similar like that to Idol, but seeing Miss Reba McEntire do her thing. Have you caught any of that the Voice this season?
I have called a few episodes, and I think Reba's doing a fine job with it. I enjoy seeing her on television.
That's where she belongs. No doubt
That's
about
right.
it. Where she's been her whole life too. Like I said, with her own sitcom, and of course now as a judge on one of the most popular shows out there on NBC. Well, I tell you what, you mentioned start with the ballads, work our way up to. There's a lot we could choose from off this country EP. What are you going to play next for us?
You mentioned the one about putting up hay. This is the newest release, I guess. We released this song with the record, and hope y'all enjoyed. If you've never put up hay before, this will give you a good idea. But we didn't have no Daisy Bell on the farm I grew up on. Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, the first job that I ever had was working on the farm for Big Bill Ladd. His barn loft was hot as hell, and so was his daughter Daisy Bell. Oh, I never will forget those days, just putting up hay. Well, it was hard to keep my mind on work, the way she filled out the skin-tight shirt and cut off jeans and red pigtails. She drove the tractor as we loaded bales. When work was through, the two of us would stay, just putting up hay, working up a sweat. Hey, till we were soaking wet. Hey, in the summer heat. Hey, loving her was sweet. The work was hard, but it sure was worth the pay. Just putting up hay. Hey, out in the country we do it that way. Well, that summer job, it came and went, and I've made more money since. But to see her bounce on that tractor seat, I guess I would have worked for free. Learn life on the farm is really great. Just putting up hay out in the barn, hay in her loving arms, hay to really stack. Hey, when I look back, the work was hard, but it sure was worth the pay. Just putting up hay. This is a song I wrote, and I've added a little extra to it in honor of all the dads out there. And I worked with mine on the farm a lot as a kid. So to all the parents out there, this is from your kids to you. Here we go. Well, the worst job that I ever had was working on the farm with my dad. His barn loft lumber was hot as hell, and all he ever did was cuss and yell. Oh, I never will forget those days. Lord, I wish I got paid working up a sweat. Hey, till we were soaking wet. Hey, in the summer heat. Hey, loving her was sweet. The work was hard, but it sure was worth the pay. Yeah, the work was hard, and it sure was worth the pay. Just putting up hay, hay, out in the country, oh, we do it that way.
Well, I can listen to him all day long. I tell you, I do that too sometimes on the job.
Well, I appreciate it.
I love it. It's just good stuff out there too. Free flow on the guitar back here on the Backstage Pass. Alex Miller here joining us here again out there. KKTC True Country 99.9 at 10 Mountain Time out there too on the LMNOC streaming app, and of course out there too with our friends at HighTideCountry.net. We'll take a time out, come back, final segment. Again, the EP is Country from Alex Miller. Make sure you guys go check it out if you've not already across all those digital platforms, Spotify, and get those numbers up streaming and help every artist achieve those goals out there, because every stream counts toward that 0.0001, whatever that is out there on the penny
sure
out
does.
there too, to get those streams up. More with Alex Miller. It is the Backstage Pass, again presented by our friends at Honky Tonk Texas and Bangtail Whiskey. Stay tuned. Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And of course, just got word here on the Backstage Pass, all-time favorite Keith Anderson going to drop by here in just a few weeks here on the show. He put a song called Picking Up Wildflowers, or I should say Picking Wildflowers, back in the day. Alex knows all about it. Keith Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
Day too as well. So always good to get some of the legends and the guys that paved the way from 90s country. I said Picking Wildflowers was the name of that hit that Keith had back in the day too as well. So you never know what's going to happen here. You get Alex and you get more coming right behind you here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com, and of course out there KKTC True Country 99.9 in Taos, New Mexico, and up into Colorado out there. If you're listening in your car, that's where you can find it. And also LMNOC, put that in the App Store, and the streaming app is out there at 10 Mountain Time, 5 days a week. We'll be on the show with Shelly in the morning, talking about who's coming up on the podcast over the next few weeks into 2024. So, we mentioned those plans for the holidays, and I know this is hard because I'm doing it too. I gave up. I felt like it was Lent all over again because I am Catholic. So I gave up pizza one year for Lent. That was hard. But now that I'm dieting, I've given up soda. I've shut it down completely. And that is one of the hardest things, because I don't drink very much, but if you remember, I told you in Nashville, I'm a root beer guy.
Yes.
It's hard to let go of Barks and A&W root beer. So if there's one thing you're giving up on the diet, what would it be?
Oh, man. Oh, that's tough. Does it have to be something I really like, too?
It could be anything out there, too. I know for me, I'm not giving up bread. I'm sorry, but I'm giving up soda.
Okay, I think I'd have to give up. I'd give up chicken.
Of all things, I love that. That's hard because, see, I'm not a big red meat
Now I'd
eater.
probably starve to death, but I'd give up. I'd give up chicken
on that diet, which is hard, no doubt. Hey, soda and beer is two things hard to just give up out there right now. It is very difficult. As far as binge watching, what's your favorite show? What have you gotten into lately?
Oh man, you remember the show Eastbound and Down?
Yeah.
So I've been watching that. He's a baseball player, and and I'm an odd dude. I like a lot of history stuff, so I watch historical things. It helps me with ideas for songs, and I watch that stuff. But that's been my show right now is Eastbound and Down.
Love that too. Now you mentioned Thanksgiving just came and went. Christmas traditions, are there any at the Miller household?
Well, I know that getting together, we always get together. I guess that'd be a tradition. But there's no like lighting a tree. Decorating a tree is kind of a tradition. It's either me or my brother. We put it up, and we are very minimalistic when it comes to putting our tree up. We got 2 ribbons we throw around the tree, and that's it. And this year we put something different on top. Yeah, that's a tradition. We put something different on top of the tree every year. So last year I think was a helmet. I don't know where my brother put a helmet up there. This year I put a Carhartt hat up there on top of it. So instead of an angel, we got Carhartt.
Yeah, I did this year. We pulled the artificial one down from the attic, and I let the kid, my 3-year-old, she started, Christmas tree and all that, and her vocabulary's increased so much. She started putting up all the ornaments, and then I'd hear just the things fall and hit the floor. I'm like, oh, God, that ornament's broke already. She put it up, knocked it down, but that's what a 3-year-old going on 4 is supposed to do, is put them up and break them.
That's right. That's right. They got fun. They got broken while somebody was having fun. That's the way to look at it.
And I'll tell you what, man, these weren't cheap ornaments either. I got these things accumulated over the past, 15, 20 years handed down to me, and I'm handed down to her as the next generation. I'm like, I was like, Chloe, you broke some good ornaments by daddy. It's
It happens. It happens.
It's hard there too. Let's do this one. Favorite food of all time for Alex Miller. When you're having one of those cheat days, what do you go to?
Oh man, I didn't get this. I'm 6'6". I didn't get this big by not eating, so it's hard to pick just one thing. I'll give you a favorite restaurant because for all of you who ever get to travel, one of my favorite restaurants is Raising Cane's. I was talking about chicken. It'd be tough for me to give it up, but Raising Cane's that's Alex Miller's spot. If we pass one on the bus, we're going to park it and go get us some canes.
If Nashville has one next time we're out, we got to stop one of those days. We'll take us an Uber.
It's south of Nashville. They're I know where they're at. They're south of Nashville. There ain't none up north, unfortunately for me, but they're south of Nashville. So
if you have one, that we'll take a ride down there because they're south of Nashville instead of being north. You mentioned shutting it down too, taking a little break, and I'm looking forward to that too. Shutting the show down for a couple of weeks. It's been that busy of a 23, and now syndicated, of course, busier 24 coming up with shows never stop. But for you, what are you most excited about going into the new year?
I'm excited. I think this next coming year coming up, we're going to have more shows and doing more things. I've been at it professionally really for about 3 years, and so the last 2 years I've seen so much growth in my followers and in my content and in my shows, especially. I've had more shows, so that is very encouraging to me, and I'm just excited to watch it all grow still.
Well, it's definitely going to continue to grow because I feel like you've been doing this as a pro for more than 3 years. Like I said, almost a decade there. Kind of feels like it because he can play a mean guitar, and it's these EPs like Country that really put people out there in a different perspective of where the appreciation of where it was paved from those 80s to 90s stars up until now, brother. I appreciate, what you do for the industry too, because I really feel like this particular sound, at least for me, there's a thirst and a hunger for it too. And I feel like it's coming back and doing what it's supposed to do, man. Well, I'll tell you this, happy holidays. Tell your dad.
Yeah.
I said hello to and the family. Merry Christmas to you guys. I know we'll be seeing each other. Good gauge on that too. Pretty
That's
soon
right.
in Nashville at the end of February when it's cold there too, and it's the last 2 days of February, first day in March. We'd love to have you back on the show. Stop by the booth and we'll go hang out. Maybe we'll take an Uber down south to Raising Cane's or something.
It'd be worth it to me. It'd be worth it.
Hey, because no knock on bar lines, but once I've had enough burgers and fried stuff, I'm going to go get more fried stuff down at
That's right.
That's right. Down there too.
The quality's better. The quality. It's worth it for the sauce, is what
for the sauce. That's what they do. It's in the sauce, no doubt. Country, the EP is out there across all the digital platforms from Alex. Make sure you guys go download and stream that as we speak out there. And of course, thanks to our friends at KKTC 99.9 True Country for carrying the show out there and syndicating us on one of the best stations in Taos, New Mexico, one of the largest media companies in New Mexico and up into Colorado. Download the LMNOC streaming app. We're on at 10 Mountain Time, 11 Central, and 12 Eastern out there too for those of you that want to keep track on the times of the shows. Thanks to our friends at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk Texas. Thanks to Alex and Martha for setting everything up. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Mia Brown stopping by here on the show. Until then, take care. Have a great night.